pastime. So we'll begin by logging in. So in order to log in, you're going to go to eternalpastime.com/wp-admin. It'll take you to this page here where you'll put in your username and password. And then we're logged in. So once you get here, this stuff here on the right-hand side is unimportant, not what we'll be looking at. The main functions and main things we want to look at are over here on the left. So I'm just going to go down through each one of these items and explain them, and that should get you set up pretty well to understand what's going on and how to use most of the functions here. So we'll start with posts. You're not currently using a blog, but I'll go briefly over some of the items in how a blog works. And we can always get this set up for you later, but this works like any word processor. So you would enter in a title for whatever your title of your blog you would want it to be, put it in here, and then whatever you want the text of your blog would go down here. So you could type it in here, and then anything you would need to format this text is located here. So it works basically how you would assume. You can put things in bold or italics. You can add a hyperlink to another site or something else or whatever. You can align your text to the center or left or right. You can add a bulleted list or a numbered list. You can add headings within and make them different sizes if that's what you're wanting to do. You can add pictures within your blog posts by clicking add media, and you can add a photo that's already in your library here, or you can upload files from somewhere else and then add a picture right there within your post, or choose an image for your featured image. Do whatever you want within there, but that's not something you're currently using, so that's all I'll show you there, and those are the main things that you would need to know about posts. But we'll move on. Responsive accordion, we're not actually using on this site, so I'm going to skip over that. And we don't need to save our changes because we're not using this blog and we didn't make any good changes. Media is just where all your media items are located. Any photos that you're using on your site they're located here, but usually you add media through the other items here. You're not usually going to go here, but if you just kind of want to see what pictures you have on here, you can look at them or edit them through here if you want. Just probably not usually how it works, but just so you know, that's where that is. Moving on to forms. You're using a couple different forms on your page, so we'll talk about how these work. They're pretty self-explanatory. You've got some more involved forms, but you can edit what's already here by clicking on the form, and you can change the wording of the question by typing in something different here. You can change the wording of the options by typing in something different here as well. Just changing these, and then you could change their order by dragging and dropping, and then you can add an option or delete an option. And you can also make the field required by clicking here. And then when you're done, just move on to the next item. And you can rearrange these by dragging them. So you can rearrange any of the options within here. So on this particular form, this is the contact form that is here. So when you click on certain items, other items pop up. So that is used through advanced, and then you enable conditional logic. So let's see, this is, how would you like to get involved today? I want to donate to your ministry. So we've got, that must be a different form. I must be looking at the wrong one. Contact form. Okay, yeah, this is how it works. So when this one doesn't have conditional logic because it goes through here. So here's how this would work. Enable conditional logic. So you want to show this field, how would you like to donate? You want this to pop up if how would you like to get involved today is I want to donate to your ministry. So then if you answer this question with this answer, then this will pop up. So if I click this, the conditional logic is going to bring this up. So that works the same for all of the following items. Show this field if any of the following match. How would you like to get involved is I want to purchase specific equipment, or how would you like to donate is by helping purchase specific equipment. So you've got that question here and here. And so if that is answered, if that option is chosen, then these options are going to pop up so that people can choose that they want to order these items. So that's how conditional logic works. If you want this item to pop up, then you're going to go to Advanced, Enable Conditional Logic, and then decide when you would want this field to show up. And then when you're done, you'll click Update Form, and then it'll be updated. So your forms are a little involved, and if you have further questions you can ask. They're set up now how you want them, but obviously if you want to add different things, it should be fairly easy to understand, but you can always ask for more help. And you've got another form here for requesting a presentation. This one's a little bit more straightforward. So you've just got name, email, phone number, and you can add, if you wanted to add more items here, all you'd have to do is come over here and add, I want to add some buttons, and I want to ask, have you and then you want this to be yes or no. You just want to start taking a poll or whatever. Then you could just say, you can add that here, and if you want to change where it goes, you could add it up here, and then you just hit update form, and then that'll be changed. And then if you decide you don't really want that item, then you can just get rid of it. And that's pretty easy. You can add, then with advanced fields, you can add name or date or time, anything like that. And you can always create a new form, and you just go do that through here. Give it a title and a description, and then just add whatever items you want. I want to add your name. So whatever you might want to use this for. There we go. And then I actually don't want to use the last name, just want a first name. Then you've got it. So that's generally how those work. And within your forms, I don't want to save that. So we want to look at settings real quick also. In your confirmation, this is going to be whatever goes out to someone who submits a form. They're just going to get this default, thanks for contacting us, we'll get in touch with you shortly. So you can come in here and change that through settings if you want. And then through notifications, that's going to be, you're going to get a notification through the site that tells you, hey, you got a new submission from this form. So that's going to be located here under entries. That would be where you're going to be able to see what people have submitted, what forms people have submitted. So those are going to be under entries. And this is where you'll see that. So that's all I think you would need to know through forms. Pages, the only way pages are used within your site right now is through WooCommerce, which we'll talk about when we get down here a little bit, and it just has short code in it. So on your site here, these are normally on other websites or that you may have seen or been to. This would be take you to another page, like right here. This is a separate page, but these items are just taking you to a separate part of this home page. So they're not taking you to a new page. So all of these pages just have short code here in them. So there's not really anything that you would need to do or use these for. Though if you did want to add a page to your site, it would work the same way as the blog that I showed you previously by using these elements. If you wanted to add something new, a header or something, or add something to your checkout page or whatever, then you could do that by adding something here. So that's all we'll talk about there, because that's all you really need to know about pages since you're not using them a whole lot. We'll move on to testimonials. On your site here are your testimonials. You've got a title and some information, and then whoever gave the testimony. So these are under all testimonials. You've got 2 coming through here, so 2 on a slide. They'll slide through. You've got your 2 here. So if you realize there was a typo, you could come in here, works the same way, and just change whatever you would need to within here. So this is where your title, that's at the top, and then you've got your text in the content there, and then the author information comes down here where it says author information. And then the important part is you've attached this to the rotator, which is what is making these rotate through your home page. So you've got this clicked and checked right here. So if you want to add a new testimonial, you just do the same thing. You'd go through, add a title, add whatever the text of the testimony is, and then you would give the author information and make sure to click here, because that will make it show up on this home page rotator. So if you look at your rotator here, this is where it's at. And you don't really need to mess with anything in here. We've got this set up for you, but this is why it shows up on the home page. And then when you go back over here to all rotators, you can see that you've got the short code here that's copied and pasted into the appropriate place to make it show up here on the home page. And I'll talk about that when we get down to homepage areas, which is next. So you've got the short code here, which you're not going to need to change because it's already in place. Main thing is, in order to add a new testimonial, you're going to come in here, add the title, add the copy, add the author information, and then attach it to homepage. So that's all you really need to know for testimonials. We'll move on to homepage areas. Homepage areas are each of these areas on your homepage here. So each one of these has their own item under homepage areas. And they're not in the right order here, but they are the right order over here under reorder. So this is the correct order that they are on your actual page. They're in a random order under all homepage areas. If you want to rearrange them, it's just dragging them, and that it just changes them. There's no save button. It just does it for you. So let's go back over here and we'll talk about what is in each of these homepage areas. I was just talking about the testimonial. So if you come to testimonial, that short code is going to be pasted right there. So that's all that one is it's pasted, copied and pasted from that section of your website. But how we got this baseball in the background is when you slide down here. So in order to get a photo in the background of your homepage area, you add a file here, and you can choose from anything in your library here, and then, or you can upload a file from somewhere else, from a picture from something else that you want to use. Then we've added a color over the top of it, which we have this brown color, so it kind of looks like it's in the background. And then you can choose whatever color you want and then change the transparency to make it more or less opaque. And you can mess around with that and see what it looks like. And then you always want to have padded. You always want the padding, so you always click yes, because that just gives it more room on either side of the picture, and that's how all of yours are set up, and they look best that way. So if you ever create a new homepage area, you're going to want them to have padding. And then this is checked yes for fixed background image, because the image moves with or the image doesn't move with the text. So you'll see how the words move over it, but the picture doesn't move. That's because it's clicked yes right there on fixed background image. So that's how that one is set up. Let's check out the others, see if there's anything. Store is also going to have shortcode for your recent products from down here, and we'll talk about products when we get there. But again, it has a image added with, it doesn't have a color over it. It's just the image, and then padding is clicked yes. Fixed background image is not clicked because, as you can see, it moves with the items instead of the items moving over it like this one. That's just preference, what you think looks good. Then let's see what's next. Latest news is also going to have shortcode pasted from Feed Them. This is just a plugin that uses your latest posts from Facebook, and there's not anything you're going to want to change there, but again, you've got a picture, no color over the top, and that's how that is set up. Let's look at what else you have. Get involved. This is going to have, you can see it has, again, functions the same way as a blog or a page. You've got this is set up as a heading 1 size, then you've got some copy underneath it, and then you've added a form, and that's where your form is located under here. That's how it shows up. Got shortcode for a form, and that is added within the page right here by adding a form, and then you just select whichever form you want. You don't want to display the title or the description, you just want it to show up, and then it's going to give you the code right there, which we don't want to do that. That's fine, so we'll leave without saving. That's how you add a form to a page. And then where we serve is going to have shortcode for your Google map, and we'll get there and we'll look at that, who we are. This is using click to learn more, and then it expands and shows you the rest of these items. So that also is using that shortcode here. And then right there. So that's how that one works. And then you've got, it's just a white background on that one. So that's why that one looks like that. Doesn't have a picture in the background. And so let's say you wanted to add a new homepage area, just to give you an idea of what that would look like. You can make this bigger, center it, then we'll center this item as well, and then we'll add, let's say you want to link to another site, we'll add that, and then I can come over here, I'm going to make this a button. So it's going to show up as a button. And then I want to make this all. I want to make this text white. Like these are white. Like the text is white on here. I want to make it white. So I'm going to come over here. White text. So let's publish it. And then I'm going to add a background image. Choose this one. Then I want to select a color and drag this to whatever color I think is going to look good over it. How about that? And then I'll slide this up. Padding, yes. Then I'm going to update, save that. And then this, come over here, we'll refresh. And there it is. Welcome to our page. And then this is going to take me to Google, which I'm not going to click on it. But that's how it shows up, like just like that. So you can kind of see, and then you could always come in here and reorder it. Right now it's at the top, so obviously you don't want it at the top. You want it, wherever else you want it. So then I am going to go in here and I'm going to delete that because we don't want it. And then if you ever delete something on accident, it's here and I can restore it. So that's the main things with homepage areas. If you have more questions, again, you can ask us, but that gives you a pretty good overview. So I'm going to delete that because we don't need it. Moving on to WooCommerce, this is where your orders are all going to come in. For if people are ordering, you've got 2 products, I believe a shirt and a hat. That's where all of the orders are going to come in over here. And you've got settings that you're going to want to look at in here. And you can go through these different items and see. We might need to change that to be your email. Yeah, I believe we're going to need to change that. But there's a lot of things that go on in here. And if you have questions about this, I think you can just ask us. But that's generally all of these items. And then if you need to change things in settings, they're going to be up here. So then we come down here to products, and you've got 2 right now, and these are a little bit complicated. So we'll click on the hat. You don't have a description right here, but you've got a featured image here. If you had more images of the hat that you wanted to use, you could add a gallery, and you could use these items and then add them to the gallery. Or if you want to change the featured image, you can change it and use a different image for the featured image. Then if you come down here, this is if you do add a new item, you'll want to take note of how these are added so that you can add it the same way. It's added as a variable product. And then if you come down here to variations, because you're asking as for donations, and if they want to give more, they can, then you've got it set at 10, 15, 20, 25, 50. And so you would just, if you wanted to add a variation, you could add another one. You can, these are just draggable. You can see drag them, or if you want to change them, you just click that arrow and just change the prices, or you can remove it if you want to remove that as an option. So that's how all those are used. And then if you made any changes, you'd want to come up here and update it. And those are, that's the main things you're going to want to know about products. But you would just go into add product and then add it the same exact way so that it would show up the same way. So again, you're going to want to do a variable product and then come in here, and then you're going to make the attributes by, let's see, what's the attributes over here. I think you're just going to add custom variables. It's donation amount. So there, donation amount, visible, and then you're just going to want to look at how these are set up and then copy and paste that into the attributes on your new product. So you're just going to want to copy that and then add a product. You're going to come in here to attributes. And then you would paste it there, which I didn't copy it, but it was, 10. And then it has a line and then the following prices. But you would just copy and paste it. So just look at the way the other products are set up to set up a new one. Again, if you have more questions about it, the products page is kind of it's a little bit more complicated. So if you have more questions, you can certainly ask. So we're not going to save that because we don't, but then you're going to want to save the attributes, but I'm not going to save it right now. So we'll move on to appearance. So within appearance, we've got widgets and menus that we want to talk about. So on the widgets, I'll go there first. My computer's going kind of slow today. This is how your page is set up. There's probably not much you're going to want to change here, but I'm going to go over it anyway just so you have an idea. So under header right, so this is just looking header on the right over here. I deleted that. I think that's gone. Yes, it is. So over here, and that's what it's talking about. In Visual Editor, we've got that Eternal Pastime Sports Evangelism. So you're probably not going to, you're not going to want to change that, but just so you know where that is located. And then you've got your menu. We've got your main menu, which is right here. And then under your footer, you've got the same, your main menu is going to be here. And then you've got a social media menu down here at the bottom on your footer. So you have your regular menu and then your social media menu. And those items are added through, you come over here to custom menu. And then wherever you want to add it, so subfooter right, add widget. And then you'd come over here and select whichever menu you wanted and then hit save. But we don't want that, so I'm going to get rid of it. And you can add a form or you can add an image to these different, and then whenever you click it, it's going to ask you where you want to add it. Again, you're probably not going to want to change anything through here, but if you did, that's how you would do it. Or if you want to add a different menu or something, that's where it would go. So moving on to menus. You have, like I said, two menus, main and social. So your main menu is just linking to parts of your page that are further down. So when you click on news, it just takes you to this part of the page, not an external page. So it's a custom link. So right now you've got eternalpastime.com and then the pound who we are. And that is what those are the titles of your homepage areas. So if you look at right here, it's get-involved. That's what this is going to be. eternalpastimes.com pound get-involved. And then navigation label is how it shows up. So that's how it shows up right here. And then this is the URL that it's linking to. And so you've got your store, and then your request equipment is an actual page, because when you come here, it does take you to a page that has a form on it. So that one is set up as a page. But again, these are set up. If you added a new homepage area, then you would want to add a menu item for that, probably at the top here. So that's how you would do it. You would add it through custom link, and then you would, add eternalpastime.com/#new or whatever that was called. And then you would say whatever you wanted it to come up as. Add it to the menu. It's going to be here, and you say, I want it to be over here, and I want it to be a sub menu item. You just bring it in like that. Or I want it to be here, and then it becomes a sub menu item. But again, and if you decide you don't want it, just remove it. Save menu. So that's how that works. You can add through any of these items, but that's the main way that you're going to be using that. If you come down plugins, we have selected which plugins will work best for your site. And so some of these items are plugins such as Google Maps or Slider Revolution. You're not going to need to do anything here unless you want to. If you want to add a plugin, you can ask us for advice about which plugins you think will work best or anything like that. But you're probably not going to need to use that. So we'll move on to users. Here is your administrator user. If you ever wanted to add another one, you could do that by adding a new user, and this is where you would change your password if you wanted to change your password. So just so you know that. You don't need to know about any of these things. Duplicator is something that we used to launch the site. Don't need it. And feed them that's what creates this Facebook feed on your page here. Oh, I think that was it. Right here. And it's just used as short code within that homepage area. Don't need to worry about anything with feed them. Slider Revolution is the next thing you're going to want to know how to use. And Slider Revolution is what's at the top. This is a slide. And if you ever wanted to add a new slide, you would just come in here, click on this, and you can come into any of these slides and edit them as they are. So I'm going to click on this one because this is the one I want to edit. So come down here, and we have you have the same content on every slide. So if you ever wanted to edit that, you're going to come into slider settings. Well, if you ever need to edit anything here, you can. Probably not going to. I don't think you're going to want to edit anything on here. This is the short code for this particular slider. And then slide editor is where we just were. That's where we want to be. And you have a static layer. That's what that's called when the pictures are swapping in and out, but the text is staying the same. You've got that's your static layer here. So if you ever wanted to edit what this says, you would just click on this item. So it says Eternal Pastime. Come up here and you can view your layers. And it says taking sports equipment and the gospel around the globe. So if you wanted to edit this, just double click on it. Or you can come here, see your layers, and then click edit. So I'm not going to mess with this because I don't want to mess it up and have to fix it. I'd rather just show you on a brand new slide. So if you just wanted to add a blank slide, you can do that. I'll show you the general principles of how this works. You can either pick a color and set that as the background of your slide, or you can choose an image. Like, this is more likely what you're going to be doing. And so you're going to choose an image, or, you know, a picture from your Facebook page or some sort of picture. And it's going to already have this static layer over it because it's set up to have that. So you can do that, add the picture, and then come in here. This, how it's, the pictures are zooming in and out, or just out, not in and out. It's zooming out like that. That's set up through Kinburn, so you just turn that on and then change this from like 100 to 110. And then you'd hit, that's how you're saving your slide. And then if you wanted to, let's say, add your own layers and not have the static layer on there, you should be able to, I think, what is that? So I don't want, let's see, I don't want these layers on here. So if you want to add your own, you can do that by adding text. And then, let's say that's your friend Jim. I don't know. I'm just coming up with something here. You just want to center it in the middle from both directions, because that's just where you want to start. And then let's say we want to make it bigger. So this is the font size. This is the line height. This always needs to be the same size or bigger. And then if you want to make the font weight bigger, that's how you would do that. Make it larger. And then can come in here and change and choose, you can go to Google Fonts, choose whatever font you want, and then that'll change your font. You can add a back, so come over here to style, can drop this down. You've got way more options, bunch more options. So if you want you want to have a background, let's say you want to have a background behind these words. I want to do a blue background, but it's too close to the letters, so you need to add a little padding on every side. So now I've got a little padding on there, and that looks nicer. And then let's see, if you want to make a border, you want a double line around the border. So I want it to be white. There you go. Now you've got a border around it. And can do a lot of different things within here. But the way you've got it set up, you're probably not going to want to change a whole lot of things, but that's kind of how that works. And then you can always make these items animated as well. You can make them animated and it slides in. And then if you come down here, this is how you gauge the time. So this is how long it takes for it to slide in and out. And if you can always play it so you can see how it works. Again, these things, you're not currently using these things on your site, but this is just to give you an idea of how this might work. So let's say you want to add another layer of text. You want that to say, you want that to be a button, or you want that to link somewhere. You can use buttons, can do the same thing, and then how you would delete a layer would be like, if you come up here, you can always see where your layers are. And I don't want that one anymore, so I'll get rid of it. But you can always hyperlink these items. So come back to style. We want that centered as well, but we want it a little bit beneath here. And then I want to give it want to make that a link. So I want to make it a simple link. I'm going to link it to Google. And now that's going to be a link. So then I'm going to save my slide. And then I'm going to preview it and see what it would look like. I don't know that I got rid of the static layer on this one. I didn't. So the static layer is still there. I need to go back and get rid of it so that I can. This is slide number 5. So I want to go here, slide ID, show layers from slide 12. Okay, I want to get rid of them. So I'm coming in there, delete that layer, okay, delete that layer, okay. Now I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to preview it, and it should look better. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to look at this one. There we go. Preview it. You see how it slides in there like that, and you see how you're zooming out on the picture, or this one's zooming in on the picture, excuse me, and then that's going to be a link. So this is just showing you, and then you can go through each screen size and see if it fits and looks okay. And that's what you want to do here, is go through each screen size and make sure that it looks okay, and it actually works on all screen sizes. It usually doesn't. You usually need to make things smaller. Main things you want to know: font size and line height. They've got to be the same, or this one needs to be bigger. The line height has to be bigger. But again, those are pretty much the main things. So if you ever want to you want to keep this static layer and you just want to add more pictures or get rid of pictures, I feel like this may be more what you're looking to do. You go on a new trip, you get a new picture. You can always just duplicate this slide. This is what I would do if I were you. And then come in here and click on it. And now I want to edit it. So you've got this, everything's the same. It has the static layer. It has the Ken Burns on right like that. So you want to come in here, change the image. So then you upload whatever image you've got from your new trip. Then you click it, insert that as your background, and then it's already going to have that static layer that says Eternal Pastime over it. And then if you don't want these to show up, just click on that little red sign there, that red symbol, and then that's not going to show up. And then if you decide you want it back, you can click on the green one. So you don't actually have to delete the slide if you don't want it to show up for a little while. Maybe you want to get rid of it for a while and then bring it back later. Then you can use that function. I'm going to go ahead and delete these slides that we don't need that I just created. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Okay, I'm not sure why that's taking so long. So I'll go back and delete those later if that's going to take a long time. That's the main ways to use slider revolution. And again, if you want to add your own text, you can come in and you can get rid of that static layer on the particular slide that you're looking at. Click on it, choose the slide that you're looking at, and then delete the layers from that slide. And then you can go in and change and add whatever you might want, and add a description or add something else over it. And then you're going to want to keep it pretty centered. But for the ones you have right now, that you don't have a background, so you might not want to use a background. So let's say, to make it look more like something you would probably want, let's do over here, change the font, change the weight to 700. We've got white text right now, so you probably want to keep it white for the sake of making it look the same. Center it up. Still not quite big enough. Let's make it bigger. And then it's going to look the same as your other slides with just different text. So that's kind of how you would use that. Fairly simple. You can update pictures again through change image here. So I think that's pretty much what you need to know about Slider Revolution. So we'll move on to Google Maps. For your site, you have a map with all the places that you guys have served or been a part of. So you don't need to worry about anything else here because you have a map and it's added through the short code on a homepage area. So the only thing that you're probably going to need to worry about is adding a location. So you're going to there are certain required fields. So let's say, you've served in Russia. So then you would just type in, it's going very slow here. There we go. Russia. And it's just going to pick it for you. It's going to have the little thing. And then you'll just hit save location. And then manage maps. You'll come in here. So here's this is your map. So let's say edit your map. And then it's going to show up down here, but it won't be checked because you haven't added it to your map yet. So you'll just select Russia would show up here. You'll check it. And then you don't need to change anything else. And then save map. And then, Russia would show up pinged here. So that's all you would need to do is just go in, add your location, just whatever country it is, hit save location, come in here to manage map. And then you'll just click whichever thing is not checked, hit save map, and it'll be good to go. So if you guys add any more countries, that is how you would change that. So we've gone through everything over here on the left-hand side that you need to know about. There are probably things I've missed and things that you may end up having questions about later, but this should be helpful enough to get you started and help you maintain your site the way that you're hoping to. So if you have questions, you can always contact me or David or Kenny or whoever's been your main contact. You can always get in touch with us and we will help you further if there's something that you didn't quite understand or you need further help with. So that's all I've got. So hopefully that's helpful and we can help you with anything further if you need it.